So I'm back this week. You had Jason and Jono last week talking about sort of the stadium developments. Obviously, if that was interesting and you're an owner, go back to last Tuesday's owners email, and there's a recording from last week's owners meeting, and I go into a lot more detail on that, on step by step, what's there. So if that's of interest to you and you weren't at the owners meeting last week, then by all means do that. With all the owners meetings, we always do a recording, which I do the following day, just breaking down what happened, just so people can listen to that back, because we're aware not everyone can make the meeting, but as well, we've got owners all over the world. However much I would love our owners from the States just to jump on a plane and come listen to an owners meeting, it's never going to be realistic. So we make sure that regardless of if you're local owner, if you're an owner that's anywhere in the UK, anywhere in Europe, anywhere around the world, whether it's Australia, the US, Qatar, that you're not missing out just because you couldn't get there to a meeting. So we will make sure that everything that way, all of our voting is always done digitally for that reason. We don't ever want the people that just didn't turn up to a meeting to be excluded. We're one that everyone in the world should get the same experience. So that's one that we're really, really keen to push that. So if you ever miss the owners meeting, just click that link. It's all done on Vidyard. So it's just a screen recording. So I run through the deck and I speak as it goes. So that makes it a lot more interesting. So this weekend, it was a great weekend. 6 points and a genuine 6 points. So we beat Bellevue, and that was a really, really big win for us because we're missing a few players, and it's one that the squad really showed we are a squad now. And that always takes time. At the end of the day, when you start, you can go back to the first 6 games, it was grim. And that was the lads getting to know each other and sort of everything taking shape, because friendlies are great. Friendlies never going to replicate a real game to the extent where the intensity going for 90 minutes, and it's just the vibe of it. Friendlies are friendlies, matches are matches. So once those first 6 games out of the way, we've got better and better, but the squad's grown. Some of these guys look so much better now at the end of the first year than they did at the start. And that's a testament to the commitment they've put in, but the work our managers and coaching staff have put in too. So that was good. And then as well, the week before, we played White Notley, and where the game was, it's officially classed as postponement because it was cancelled on the day, but it was, we knew we were going to get in the points at some point, but they came through the weekend. So we got 6 points over the weekend, which was a nice jump for us and helped move us up the table. This weekend coming up, so this Saturday, is the final home game of the season. It feels crazy to say we're in March and we're talking about end of the season, but that is now upon us. So please bring a friend. That's what up. So it's called non-league day because the internationals are going on. This is the day where clubs across the country, fans are just encouraged, go and support your local non-league team. So what I'd encourage everyone that's a Rocks fan, bring a friend. Find out whoever is interested in football. They've got no Premier League to sit and watch on TV. Bring them to the game. And what I'd encourage them, don't tell them about ownership yet. Save that until half time. But for the time being, encourage them just to come to the game, because that's going to be a great icebreaker for them, because lots of them probably never have watched non-league football. And it's not out of snobbery or anything like that. They're just probably not really aware of it going down there. And I think a lot's changed with sort of the rise of it was, what was it, Salford FC. I forget the name of the program. Was it Class of '96 or whatever it might be? But that was kind of a point where non-league started going onto the mainstream TV channels and talking about that. Obviously, they're a level of non-league well above the level of non-league we are, but it's one with them, with Wrexham, with other stuff, that there's a lot more content out there now. Sort of the rise of hashtag. So there is more and more awareness, but that's one that we need to sort of open the doors and spread the word. So that's what I'd encourage everyone to do. If everyone brings one friend, boom, we're up to sort of 200 rather than 100 fans, and I'm sure more and more people will come. So just keep spreading the word. Anyone you know that's a football fan, tell them, hey, come down. It's free football. Not if they're used to spending Premier League prices, they're used to spending £50, £10 a pint. They're going to be treated to something where they don't need to fork out a load of money. If they want to spend £50 on 50-50 tickets, I'm not going to stop them, but it's one that get them to come down and really support the club. And what will happen is just by coming down, they'll be like, oh, actually, this was great. And that's where getting that mindset where they might come back and they might become owners. But I would just spread the word and say, hey, if you enjoy football, come on down, enjoy it. So really push, bring a friend, anyone you can. It's final home game of the season, which matches up really, really nicely. Um, I'm wearing one of our shirts, so this is our away shirt. But all of our shirts, all the merchandise is now online, so you can go and join that online and buy it. We ship worldwide, so wherever you are in the world, if you're interested, buy some merch. And then the other bit I wanted to touch on is just I was looking the other day where we're getting close to the end of the season. What we're 24 of 40, 24 of 28 games in, so 4 games left per my maths. Hopefully, I haven't done my maths wrong. Um, I'll double check just to make sure I haven't screwed it up. Let's just check. But across those first 14 games of the season, we finished with 10 points. 14 games, 10 points, which that was disappointing. So this is 23. I think it just needs a refresh. Yeah, needs a refresh. So yeah, we're 24 games into the season. And as things stand, start with our highest number. We're 29 points off first, which sounds disappointing. And to be fair, who wouldn't want to perform better in any season, regardless of, hey, you ask teams that finish third, they want to perform better. You ask teams that finish 12th, they want to perform better. But with 29 points off first, but there's some more detail beyond that that is really, really interesting. So I'd say the first bit to look at is through those first 14 games, we've got 10 points out of 14 games. So we're tied 12th in the table. Disappointing, but it shows how far we've come. And I said from that point, it was like, we've just got to beat that. Even if we get 13 points, it's progress, but we need to beat that 10 points. And so here we are, 10 of the 14 games into that second half of the season, and we're on 21 points. That is great progress. We've over doubled our points tally in just that 10 games. We've still got 4 more, so we can push that up. Who knows? We could even be flirting with 30 points, so treble our amount of points from first half to the second half of the season. So that is really, really impressive. So if we just look at how far we are second half of the season, so we're talking take out every team's first 14 games, we're on 21 points. The only 2 teams ahead of us, we've only got 2 teams ahead of us. So Kings Park are on 27 points and Earls Cone are on 30 points. That's really, really, genuinely, it's impressive because we're looking at that going, hey, if we repeat that next season, we're third over the whole year. That's fantastic. I think the goal next season, let's push for those sort of top 5 places. We don't know where we're going to finish at this season, but if we can crack that top 5, that sets us up nicely for the year after. Let's push for promotion. But it's a journey, it's a process, but it's one that I'd say just a massive thank you to everyone on the coaching staff, the players for the work they've done to go from 10 points in 14 games to 21 points in 10 games. That's a testament. And I always say, kind of the rule of thumb in any league is if you're getting 1 point a game, you're going to be floating around relegation. Yet 2 points a game, you're going to be floating around the top of the league. So we're pretty much doing that. We're on 21 points in 10 games. That's promotion form, and that's one that we just need to keep working on that because, hey, I haven't looked at have we played 10 easier, harder games this point of the season. Who knows? I'm not that bothered into go into all that detail. But the key thing is we are much more promising. If this would be over a whole season, you finish in sort of 15 points off first. And these top 2 teams, Earls Cone and Kings Park, are 2 really, really good teams. There is no beating around the bush. They are genuinely really good. Kings Park are paying a few players, and that shows. And it's one that if we're mixing it and just behind those best lads, and hopefully we'll take a little step forward next year, and that's where we can really, really impress. But I'd say it's a good challenge for next season. Let's try finishing the top 5. Let's put together 2 halves of the season that are really impressive. So let's push on. But no, massive testament to all the work going on, not just on the committee side. We're doing our bit, but also on the playing side, the coaching side. It really takes all 3 bits to come together and deliver because you can have a phenomenal committee if the football's not good enough. If the football's good and the committee's a sort of a shambles, then that's going to impact vice versa. So it's one that we really, really got to push on, and it sets us up nicely for the future. So we spoke about 2-year plan to get promoted because the facilities are the hardest bit. We need to make sure that the stuff's in place. It's going to cost tens of thousands. But we need to have that in place so that the football can do the talking and remove any barriers. So, yeah, really, really optimistic. It's going well, but please bring a friend, spread the word. If you're not local, just send the link to somebody on VO once the game goes live and go, hey, watch this. Or have a watch party. Who knows? I have mates around to watch the Super Bowl. Why not watch the Rocks at home? If you're in the US, crack open some beers really early in the morning. What better way to live? So, yeah, spread the word. That's really the ask for this week because, yeah, it's non league day. Let's make the most of it. Let's go for a record attendance. So, our biggest ever attendance, pull it up because I keep all of these little bits of data because they're useful. It was Sudbury on the bank holiday. I will find out the exact amount, but we had a really, really, really good turnout that day. Kept me busy because I go around just about half time and do all the counting. So our record attendance was 237, which is pretty impressive because we've only had a few other games. We had 3 other games that have gone over 150. So I've had 152, 166, 170. These are just the competitive games. We're not talking about the friendlies. But 237 for Sudbury. So that's the bar. Let's try and smash that. Can we break 250? That would be wild. I will be having a party if we break 250. And remember, free football. So you're not costing any of your friends any money. Bring them down. Have a great time. Let's make this a memorable final home game for our first ever season. Thank you for your support. And as always, up the Rocks.